don't get awkward when I tell you about this, right? It was about 3 months into pregnancy, my wife was asked to do this test, right? It's a test for 3 things. 2 of the things are things where if the baby had it, it wouldn't have lived, right? And the third thing was Down syndrome. Now, I don't know a lot about Down syndrome. All I know is this. I used to work with someone with Down syndrome. I really liked him. I thought it was fun, funny, and kind, and I really got on with him. And if I had a son who grew up like him, I'd be proud of my son. I also worked with someone called George, who was a dickhead, but you can't test for that. I know because I asked. But by the time you know your child's a dickhead, it's too late for a termination at that point. They're already 18 years old, doing a sports science degree. You've got to pretend that you're proud of them. And it was awful, this guy, George. He used to do this thing, right? So I worked in this office, so there were non-autistic people who worked in the office, and I would always make sure, if you work with non-autistic people, you should do this, right? When you see them, you go, how are you, right? And, well, you laugh at that, but actually it really helps them. It's not fair. It helps them to self-regulate. It does, and it's important. It's an important part of creating an inclusive workspace. It doesn't take a lot, does it? You go, how are you? And they go, I'm good, how are you? And you go, I'm good. And then it's settled there. And it can be very agitated, and then you do that, and it just helps them to settle. And I would always do that. But I met George the first day. The second day I saw him, obviously I said to him, how are you, George? And instead of saying, I'm good, he said this. He went, well, I'm all right, but it's everyone else who's the problem, right? Which is right? You will laugh anything, won't you? But that is a rubbish joke. It's a rubbish joke. I'm all right, it's everyone else. It's a sort of rubbish joke. And I felt awkward because I knew it was a joke. I didn't find it funny, but in the office, you've got to laugh at the jokes even if you don't find them funny, right? Because the rules of that job are very different to the rules of my job now, right? I can't just heckle him to his face. I've got to go, everyone else is the problem, right? And it was awkward. I didn't like doing it, but I knew that, if I did that, it would be over quickly and I wouldn't have to do it again, right? And then the next day, he came in. I said, how are you, George? And he went, well, I'm all right. It's everyone else who's the problem. And I thought, oh, how embarrassing for him. He's forgotten that he did that joke yesterday, so I didn't want to embarrass him, so I laughed again at the joke, and then I thought, okay, he's not going to do it a third time, surely. Third day, how are you, George? I'm all right, it's everyone else is the problem. Fourth day, I'm all right, it's everyone else is the problem. This went on for 2 weeks. Every day, I'm all right, it's everyone else is the problem. And then about 2 weeks in, we got chatting between our work, and he said to me, oh, you work part-time, don't you? Do you do anything else? And I went, well, actually, I'm starting to make a little bit of money from stand-up comedy. I'm trying to be a comedian, so that's what I do as well. And when I told him that, I felt so embarrassed for him, because now he knows that I'm a professional, and he's been bringing that rubbish joke to me every day. He must feel like he's offered white lightning to a wine sommelier. How embarrassing for him. And I didn't want to. I thought, well, at least now he's not going to do it anymore. And then the next day, how are you? I'm all right, it's everyone else's problem. Every day, I'm all right, it's everyone else's problem. I'm all right, it's everyone... And I'm making it sound funnier than it was, right? He delivered it badly, it was all over, it was rubbish. I could make that work, right? If I did a joke and the punchline was, I'm all right, it's everyone else's the problem, it would be brilliant, right? It would illustrate a clever socio-political point. It would be well delivered. It would be great, right? But he made it sort of rubbish. I'm all right. It's everyone else's problem. It was awful. It was a dickhead, Jordan. That's the thing. I worry that when I do that joke about Down syndrome, people think it's like an anti-abortion joke. It's not. I just think it's it's weird the things that we test for. We test for Down syndrome, don't test for dickheads. That's all I'm saying. I'd hate to have a son like George. I'm not. Yeah, I worry people think that's It's not. I'm pro-choice. I think if you're pregnant, you should be allowed to have an abortion for any reason, whether it's medical, financial, even just as a warning shot to your existing children. Just. Do you know what I mean? Let them know you're not to be fucked with. Tidy your room or you're next, that sort of thing. And People say when you have a baby, it makes you anti-abortion because you got. I don't think that's true, right? Because I've seen childbirth. Childbirth is fucking horrible. Like childbirth is and I'm not being glib when I say it. Childbirth is the worst thing that's happened to me, and it didn't even happen to me. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just, for the worst thing to have happened to you to be watching something happen to someone else, it's fucking horrific. And you realise when people are anti-abortion, they're like pro that being forced on people. It's fucked up. You know, now I'm more pro-choice. Now I think if you're pregnant and you don't have an abortion, you should legally be allowed to murder one adult. That's what I think. I think you get one. And I guess what it is, right, is what I feel uncomfortable about is I think a lot of the discussion we have around abortion and disability, it doesn't take into account the social model of disability. That's what it is, right? Because like we you know what the social model of disability is, right? It's a guy called Mike Oliver came up with it, right? He used a wheelchair. He said the main barrier in his life wasn't that he used a wheelchair, but the society was set up in such a way that didn't expect a level of diversity that included people who used wheelchairs. He said that his wheelchair was enabling, but society was disabling. I think that's like a really interesting way of looking at things, and I think it's a really important idea because it sort of flips things round. He sort of said that it wasn't him that had a disability, it was society that was disabling. It's like turning it on its... I'm not explaining it. It's like turning it on its head. He's saying it's society rather than... He basically said, I'm all right, it's everyone else who's the problem. That's what he said. And, thank you. I don't know,